Hey everyone, it is Savannah and welcome to Signature Ways. This is our first episode and we are so excited. Our mission with these podcasts is to help realtors elevate their business and reach new heights by bringing industry pros and talking tools, strategies, and ideas to help you win at your real estate business. So, our first guest today, we want to talk about social media and how to use it to build your business. And we could not have a better guest than Mr. Michael himself. He is a top Colorado realtor who specializes in helping families and individuals relocate into the amazing area. He's built an impressive presence on Instagram, combining real estate insights with lifestyle content, and has become the go to resource for clients looking to make a smooth move. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Michael to the show. Hello.
Hi, Savannah.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Oh, yeah. When we knew we were going to do this, I was like, okay, Michael, we've got to talk social media. That's a big topic this year. And you were the person. So,
Well, thank you.
yeah. So, before we dig into strategy, I want to rewind a little bit. Can you share a little bit about your journey, how you got started in real estate and started actually using social media to build your business?
Yeah, sure. So I got started in real estate. I got my license in 2019, and it was kind of after a rough time in my life. I had left the country. I quit my 9 to 5 job that I hated. I left the country. I went to Southeast Asia, packed up my house, put everything in storage, and went over there, I guess, to find myself, if you will. I thought I wanted to be a digital nomad, but I missed my dog. So I ended up coming back after 2 months traveling abroad. And before I left, I was working with a career coach because I was looking for a career change. And she was saying that everything pointed in the direction of real estate, which I had had an interest in before, but I was just a little bit intimidated with the pay structure being commission only. But in 2019, I just decided to go for it and get my real estate license. My career itself in real estate, just being transparent, has been kind of a roller coaster ride because I like to dabble in many different things at once. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess real estate had started out as more of like a side gig for me. Um, I didn't really put in the time or effort to build a true business. It was just like, oh, someone needs to buy or sell, cool. But I didn't have the systems and processes and ways to keep in touch with clients as well as to attract new clients. So it was actually at the last year, at the end of last year, I kind of came to this point where I was like, okay, I need to figure out what I want to do. I need to either go 100% all in on real estate, or I need to figure out something else to do. And I like real estate. There's a lot about the industry that I love. And I also love the freedom that it gives me as well. I don't like working for people. So I want to be able to do what I want to do on my own terms and run my business the way that I want to run it. So yeah, so that's when I started getting a couple mentors. So if you're in the Northern Colorado area, a lot of you know Chris Mullenberg. I went through one of his programs, and then I also went through a 3-month intensive social media program as well. And that's where I learned how to create a lot of the content that I create now.
Awesome. And I just kind of want to hit on a point because you were talking about how when you first started, it was kind of just like, oh, cool, if someone needs help, I can help them. But it was just not really something you took serious or as a business. And I think you addressed it a little bit, but I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into it is like, what mindset shift happened that you were like, okay, this is actually a business and I need to treat it like one?
You know, I'm happy that you asked me that because a huge reason why I wasn't able to show up previously in my real estate business the way that I do now was my mindset.
Mm.
There was so I also had some, you know, some mindset mentors and some mentors who helped me in like my human design and things like that. So um, I basically had to work through a lot of barriers in order for me to just show up and be the agent or the resource to people who are buying or selling that I wanted to be. So that also plays into it as well. And after going through that process, I'm a huge proponent of, I mean, we all know that entrepreneurship is not easy. And if your mind is not right, it's impossible, in my opinion, it's impossible to show up in the way that you need to show up and be successful in real estate, I think, but I think also in any business.
I agree full-heartedly with you. And it's actually one of the classes that I teach, we talk about going from entrepreneurial to purposeful. And I think that's the mindset shift that a lot of people end up discovering, is that they become purposeful in all their actions. They understand what they're doing it for, not just waking up each day going, all right, what is today going to bring?
Yeah. Well, and I think you have to like it too. You know, the way that I was doing real estate, I didn't like it. I wasn't in the mindset, and I didn't like what I was doing. And then the content side of things just changed everything for me, because I'm just going out and living my life and doing the things that I like to do. The only difference is there's a camera somewhere around or a drone flying overhead capturing what I'm doing. So, and I think that we can maybe dive into that later, but I think that is one thing that makes content easy. I think people overcomplicate it, but it's like, just do the things that you do in the area, but just make sure that there's a camera on or you're capturing some piece of it, and then all of a sudden content becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of overthinking to it for sure. And actually, the next question is, what stories or posts actually resonate with your followers and spark the most engagement for you?
So it really varies and depends, but you really have to hone in on who your ideal client is and then speak directly to them. So more than likely, so the easiest way to do this is think of your ideal client as you. So you're basically attracting people who are like you, which is perfect because you have things in common. So like me, like I share a lot about, I like eating, I like food. So I share like places to eat, or I really like coffee shops because I like working there. Otherwise I have to work from home. So I'll share coffee shops, or I'll share, I like going to the mountains. I like hiking and camping. So, I'll share things like that. Or, my reels, I'll do just like, beautiful scenery from a drive, or, scenery from a trail or something like that. Or, like just me walking around at the farmer's market because I like the farmer's market. And then so you'll just naturally start attracting people who are like you, and who are your ideal client, which is amazing because you already have something in common. You already have some sort of rapport.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think you have a lot of balance, I feel like, between kind of what it's like with a little bit of real estate mixed into it. And I think your captions really explain that. Explain to me a little bit about your captions and kind of your thought process around that and how it can actually help with the videos reaching more people.
Yeah. So basically, what you want to do is with your on-screen hook, you kind of want to spark some like curiosity for people, so they want to like read more. So that's one of the ideas of the hook, is so that they will go down below and then get more information. But that's actually one piece that's really kind of hard for me, is the captions, just because you really do have to tell the story, or like I'll list like, I don't know, 5 things families are looking for when moving to Colorado or Northern Colorado. And so, or 5 neighborhoods, like whatever. But then you need to go in there and you need to actually describe those 5 neighborhoods or those 5 things, so that people can get an idea of what it's like to live here. Because with people's attention span these days, a lot of the reels are shorter because they perform better. They just do. If they're under 10 seconds, that's where you can get the most views. But like how can you communicate something valuable in 10 seconds on screen? Like, you can't. I don't think you can anyway. It's impossible. So you rely on the caption to like tell the story or give the information. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, the
no, I think
captions
that's
they take some time, to get used to and get in the habit of. But once again, it can kind of be fun because if you structure it in a way where you're just talking about the things that you like to do or your life, then it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to talk about, or if you're talking about your favorite hiking trails, like, of course you want to talk about those. Like, if you were having a conversation with someone on the street and you both like hiking, you'd probably be talking about your favorite hiking trails.
yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I think the attention span thing is such a thing, and everyone doom scrolls. Guilty as charged. And yet yeah, I have seen those videos where it's just like 5 seconds long and it's someone doing something and it has a hook over the video, and then it's like read more in the caption, and then I sit there and I read this huge long paragraph and the video plays like 20 times, which I know helps the video perform then also.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they just bring really good points. But another thing that you said is stories, and I think that's something people miss. It's even when I see just listed post or something like that, it's just a fact, not a story. So can you touch a little bit on the story factor? Because I think that's something that people are missing on their social media is they're like, oh, house is listed. Well, no, tell me a story. What would my life look like in this house?
Yeah, so I mean, just being honest and transparent with you, like showing more of like real estate and doing property tours, it's harder to do, but
Hmm.
like especially for me, I mean, you'll see, I used to do a ton of property tours. That's all I used to do actually, but it's hard. I mean, you have to physically go out to a house, you have to record everything, come back, and then edit. So I'm trying to get in a habit of doing more of those, but it is difficult, and I haven't come up with a way to do it where it really resonates with people.
Hmm.
So that's
Well, and I
a
guess like
bottleneck
part of
for
it is
me.
like the storytelling that you are telling though through the post currently. So not just like just listed or just sold ones, but
Mm,
just in
okay.
general, the story part. Cause I feel like that's why you have such a following. That's why all of a sudden you've just kind of become the relocate expert of Northern Colorado, just because the way your social media is set up is that you're telling a story of the lifestyle people are going to be buying into Northern Colorado.
Yes. Yes, and that's huge. When I'm on my calls with people who want to move here, that's one of the first questions I ask them. I'm like, tell me about yourself, tell me about your
Mm.
lifestyle. And then that's how I help them kind of identify which areas in Northern Colorado they want to move to. So it is very much for me. And I mean, I've seen other creators who, I mean, they do just that. They do just lifestyle stuff. And maybe they'll
Mhm.
show some houses like in their stories. I think you can do that. um, I want to get better at that. Just like while I'm showing homes, like getting a quick clip, but I try to be present with my clients. So sometimes it's
Right.
hard, I guess, unless I could, start showing up earlier for showings just so I can get some clips. But I think the stories are great for that. I also use the stories to tell some certain kind of story or make some sort of point about moving here, through like, I don't know, you can do like 5 to 10 actual clips. And like I did one, I went to Boulder one day and I was just comparing, I was basically selling Fort Collins over Boulder because the lifestyle is similar, but Fort Collins is way cheaper.
Right.
So I kind of conveyed that through like, oh, here's the feel of like, you know, Boulder, Pearl Street, and then here is Old Town. It's very similar, lifestyle similar. They're both close to the mountains, but Fort Collins is way cheaper. And then at the end, I always have some sort of call to action. I say, hey, is
Mm.
moving to the Fort Collins area in your goals like within the next year? And then people who are answering yes, and they may have already downloaded your relocation guide or whatever before, but people who are answering yes like those are leads.
Right.
So once they raise their hand and they say yes, then I go back into the DMs and I start shooting them DMs and start asking
That's
them questions like, what's their motivation for moving, where they're moving from, any real conversation that you would have with someone who's moving from another state, but it's just in the DMs.
awesome. And you just do that conversation through Instagram or Messenger or whatever platform they had messaged you on?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, the goal is to get on a call with them or set them up on a property search, depending on what their time frame to move is. So, I usually won't get a phone number from them until we actually have a consultation. So it's primarily through DMs. I mean, I have drip campaigns too that I send through my CRM. So they'll be hit with those too, and they're getting prompted to do different things, to hop on a call with me. And I'll give tips and stuff too, like about the seasons or so. Yeah, they're really being hit from, many different directions, but primarily the conversations happen in the DMs.
And what I hear you saying too is those conversations aren't like, hey, are you ready to schedule a consultation? You're actually giving them value on top of what they're saying yes to, because you want them to understand the area. And I think that just builds trust immediately. And hence why you're getting these leads to continue conversations with you. Because I think it's sometimes easy to get the lead and then it falls apart because we don't know what to say. And I think that's what you figured out is based off of where this lead should be coming from, these are the value points I should be following up with.
Right. And to be honest with you, like I'm still learning, I mean, I had a mentor who taught me a lot of the stuff that I know, but I've had to, well, because you all helped me build out my CRM. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
But there have been some bottlenecks. It's like, oh, who was that person that wanted to move from Illinois that, we were having a conversation and they dropped off? Well, I totally forgot about them. So I was like, okay, I need a place where I can keep track of these people so I can go back and follow up with them.
Yep.
And there's many ways to do it. I was taught, to do it in Notion, which that just didn't work for me. It was too much manual stuff. So, I have things set up in the CRM where like they download my relocation guide. They go through Zapier into my CRM. And then I can put them into categories, stages based on their time frame to move, different tags depending on where they want to move. And then that way I can go back and follow up with them.
Yeah, I think that's the one key thing. Because I think we can have these great strategies. We can have all, this master plan up front. But if you don't have something on the back end to actually follow up with these people, they fall through the cracks. One thing that I've always heard is follow up is in the fortune.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, did I say that right? And it's so true, because if you have someone that says, oh yeah, but we're not going to be moving out there for another year, well, you're not going to talk to them on a daily basis anymore. And so how do you make sure you're strategically staying in place? So 9 months from now, you reach out to them and you're like, hey, let's start the process.
Yeah, like if I were to do it all over again, because I've changed things all around so many different times. Like I used Beacons AI, and now I use Flowdesk and a Google form, and I've just gone back and forth so many different ways to figure out just a system that works. But yes, the biggest thing is, and I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're writing them down, even as long as you have a list of these people that you can go back and touch them, because the DMs, they start getting chaotic. I was taught you can go and you can actually put like different flags on the messages and you can go back and sort. And so I was doing that like flagging them as a lead. But then I was noticing that Instagram, when you go to sort them, it's very glitchy. So sometimes it won't, like 3 will pop up and then the next time 10 will pop up. And I was like, this isn't accurate. Plus it's just chaotic.
Right.
It's like every single time someone downloads my relocation guide, they get they get a snap from Snapchat, or from ManyChat. I'm sorry, not Snapchat.
I was like, oh, whoa, okay.
No, sorry, ManyChat, but that pops up in the DMs, and that's kind of how I know to go in and introduce myself, because it populate. But it's the DMs start getting crazy. Like you cannot use that as your CRM. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone else knows how to do it, but I couldn't figure it out. I had to have something separate like the CRM to keep me on track, and I feel so much better and so so confident that I am following up with people. So
Awesome. And one thing you've mentioned it a few times is your relocation guide. And I would love you to just talk about the idea behind it, because I think that people that are listening to this, right, relocation might not be their thing, but maybe they, live in Windsor and they want to do something just particular to Windsor. Like, talk to me kind of the concept behind the relocation guide, to hopefully spark other ideas for other pros to figure out what to do with that.
yeah, people who are not they're not focusing on relocation. Yeah. So basically it's an item of value that you're giving to them for free. Of course, you're giving it, to them in exchange for their email address, but you're not charging them anything for it. So it's value. And if you're not focusing on relocation specifically, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do. I mean, you can do neighborhood guides, you can do park guides, you can do like a foodie guide with restaurants, dessert places, or you could do one on coffee shops, hiking trails, places to camp, lakes, right? Recreation. I mean, really anything you can turn into a guide and give it to people in exchange for their email address, because now you can follow up with them really easily with like drip campaigns, which are pretty mindless. They turn on automatically and they continue to run. I think those are beneficial, but I think the biggest way for you to nurture them is just continuing to create content. Because I actually had someone tell me this the other day, and I think it's super important. There are people on social media who are watching you and they love you, whether you believe it or not. There are people who look forward to your reels and you may never hear from them. They could just be a consumer of content and they just sit there and scroll. They don't comment, they don't like, they don't interact, but they're watching you, right? Because they probably want to move to Colorado, or I don't know, maybe they're local and you posted on a neighborhood or something that they're interested in. Or maybe they just like you as a person because of your personality. They just gravitate toward you for some reason. But that's the thing. Like, if you're continuing to get in front of them and create content consistently, if they just been watching you and not interacting, but a year later they're ready to move, guess who they're gonna DM? They're gonna DM you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So consistency is huge too. We can talk about that if you want, but
yeah. What does that consistency schedule look like for you?
it's chaotic. I'm just gonna be upfront with you. Like I mean, creating content, it's time consuming. It takes a lot of time and an effort, and just you really have to be mindful when you're out and about doing things, of like setting up the camera, getting clips. So my goal is one reel a day. Sometimes I meet that, sometimes I don't. But I just think if you're staying consistent in some way, shape, or form, even if it's 3 days a week, that's super important. And that was actually a mental block that I had to get over, because I mean, I created content I've been doing this for like 8 months now. And just now, like, my pipeline is starting to stack, but it takes time. It's just like if you're trying to get to know someone, right, out in the community who wants to buy or sell, like they have to know, like you, and trust you. And that trust, I think, has to, it takes time to develop. So if someone is just started following you on social media, they may not be very, likely to reach out to you. But if they've been following you for 6 months, 8 months, or a year, then like I said before, they're probably going to be the one that reaches out to you to help them buy or sell in the area. So I think that's the hardest part, is just like, but okay, but if you think about it too, it's like any other activity in real estate, right?
Right.
It's like everything that you're doing right now will more than likely come to fruition like 3 months from now.
Right.
So
Yep.
it's no different than anything else that you're doing. It's just you have to stay consistent with it over and over and over again, even if you aren't seeing results right now. But I promise you, it will start stacking and the business will come. So it's just showing like that, showing up every single day, putting out the reel, even though it's hard and you don't want to. There are some days that are really hard. It's like, but I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it out. And you just push through it and just do it. Most days it's enjoyable. It is. But some days it's just like, oh, I don't want to do that. And some days I don't, to be honest with you. If I am maxed out at capacity and I can't do it today, then I'll do it tomorrow. Just don't go weeks without posting,
Well, and I think that's something too. I see people start it, they do really good for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do 2 posts the following week and then they're ghost. And I think that's the thing, is like when you decide to do this, I sometimes feel like people go completely head first and everything. And I always tell people, I'm like, just start with posting consistently, doing a video every Friday. Just do a video every Friday. Get in the habit that every Friday, this is what happens. Then add Wednesday to your and Fridays. Do it twice a week. So like slowly build it up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't necessarily go 7 days a week, because especially since you're newer at it, you're going to be learning how to do the editing. You're learning how to put it all together. It's a lot. It's a lot. I was just like, oh, I can use, what is that? Cape cut, whatever yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is going to cut my time in half. And it honestly has not, because I sit there and have to like move the videos around and it takes way longer. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, it's like, what do they say? It's like 21 days, for a habit, right? So like, and you're very right. Like in the beginning, it is going to be hard. It's like anything new that you're going to do, it is going to be hard. But the more that you do it, the more efficient you're going to get at it, and the quicker you're going to be able to put them, so yeah, don't go a week and be like, oh, this is horrible, I can't do this. And it's like, well, it's like, you're just learning. Give it maybe 3 weeks until you have your process down, and then it's a little bit easier. But once again, like I said, I think some people get stuck too with like, because at this point in my camera roll, anytime you're walking around, you have to think like a content creator, right? Like, oh, this is beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Other people are going to think this is beautiful. Oh, maybe I should get a little clip of it. Because otherwise I have so much content in my photos now that like I can put together reels forever. So that's the goal, right? Is you just have to be very mindful of when you're out and about, either getting clips with your phone or setting up a tripod to get a clip of you like walking through a house or walking through a park. I actually just got a GoPro recently.
Oh,
that has been really, really great for content on like hikes and stuff. So I have like a selfie stick attached to it, and it just takes really, really nice video, nice shots. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about just real quick. So I have a drone. I have my drone license, but I also want to let everyone know that like you don't need to create fancy content to be successful. Like people want raw, unedited content.
Mm-hmm.
People are like so thirsty for authenticity. So you don't need fancy equipment. you literally just need your iPhone or your Android, I guess. I'm not big on Android, but you just need a phone that can record video,
Right.
It really is that simple, but just that mindset of thinking as a content creator, you're going all these places or doing all these things with your kids. It's like, while you're doing it, just get some clips quick, and you'll see if you do it consistently for months at a time, all of a sudden you have this huge library of content that's ready to go.
Yeah. And a potential to reuse some of it too then. So yeah, that way you're not always having to record. Obviously you have to keep new stuff coming in, but yeah.
I reuse quite, especially if I have like a reel or a clip that did really good, like 6 months later, I might even just repost the same exact reel. Like if it got 100,000 views,
yeah,
we'll repost the same one. Or, I know that people really like the visual or the clip, so I'll use that one in maybe like a multi-clip reel. But yeah, repurposing is, or, if you record like a 20 to 30 second video of you walking down a trail, well, you can make so many reels out of that because you're only taking 5 to 10 seconds. So you could pull 5 to 10 seconds from the beginning and then make another one 5 to 10 seconds at the end of the clip. Right. And you have two different visuals.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So for your editing, kind of talk to me about the platforms that you do use. Because I think that's something too, is like people hear these great ideas and then they go, wait, what am I supposed to use?
I literally, I just use the Instagram Edits app. And that's
easy.
I mean,
so okay. You're telling me you don't need like 72 editing platforms?
No, you don't.
Oh, what?
You don't. I mean, I make adjustments to like the colors and stuff in the iPhone's native Photos app. And then I use Instagram Edits to add in like the music and my hook. Sometimes I will use, I use CapCut for my property tours. Anytime I'm doing anything of a house, just because they have like this AI auto, it's like an auto correction filter or something. Yeah. And it just makes the house like pop, and it's easy because I just click it and it's done. So I do use CapCut a little bit, but yeah, I pretty much just use the edits app.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's super simple. I was like, all right, everyone get ready. Write down all these apps.
No.
Don't need to.
It's quite simple. I think it seems intimidating. I think people do really overcomplicate it, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. So talk to me kind of about new followers. I know some people are like, oh, I'll pay to run or boost some videos. Is that what you did at the start, or did you kind of just let it naturally grow? Talk to me how that kind of looked and how that's looking today.
Yeah, so I've grown my audience 100% organically. I will boost reels for my listings, and you can. I've been looking into doing this, but you absolutely can look, like for me, obviously relocation specific, but you can run certain ads through Meta to target your ideal clients who are moving here. I haven't done that yet. I mean, I guess I could, but I feel like organically I have enough leads. Just running things organically. You really don't need to run any sort of fancy ads. I mean, you could run like retargeting ads if you wanted to keep in touch with people. But I've never ran any ads to get followers. It's just been organically from Reels.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So everyone needs to make sure they check out his Instagram, because then you'll be able to see it, kind of see what you're talking about. But as we wrap up here, I want to talk about, for agents just starting out, I think this is a really important point. And I think you talked about it, the ideal client. Mm-hmm. And I think when we first get into real estate, and I actually heard Phil Jones say this, and it hit me like a brick wall. I was like, whoa, okay, that actually makes so much sense, is that when everyone gets in real estate, they'll just take deals from anywhere. They don't care. I don't need an ideal client. I will help everyone. Well, yes, you're going to help everyone, right? However, you need to be an expert in something, and you've become an expert in relocation, and you've created your ideal client around that. So talk to me kind of through that process of how you went through identifying it, maybe some questions. Did you use ChatGPT to kind of help with this exercise? Because I think what I would love to see agents do is really understand their niche
Mhm.
and advertise to that instead of trying to be everyone, because you can't be everybody. You can be you though.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think that's also why social media is great, because your vibe attracts your tribe. So
Wait. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
yeah,
I love that. That needs to be on a t-shirt.
that make a
That
great
is awesome.
t-shirt. Yeah,
That is a great t-shirt. All right,
yeah,
new idea. All right, love it. Okay,
yeah.
continue. Sorry, I just had to stop that. Like that is awesome. I love that.
And I honestly, in what I'm doing and, how I portrayed myself, I mean, everybody who has come to me has been so nice. And, we're all into the same things. We're into, most of the people that I talk to, they want to move here because they want to be close to the mountains primarily. And I love the mountains, and they see the mountains in my content. I am not the type of person that will just work with anybody. And I can just, when I'm on the phone with, this only happened once. I've done one consultation where I had someone that we just weren't a good fit. And I could just tell, 10 minutes in, I was like, this is not going to work. But I just referred them out to someone on my team, and I'll take a referral because he was a better fit with someone else.
I love
So
that.
I personally don't work with everybody. I want to work with people who are like me and who, we have things in common. So I think it is important to identify some sort of niche. But I honestly think with social media, like if you're just showing your life and what you do and your interest, you're going to attract people who are like you and who are into the same things.
And I think that's it. Make the ideal client who you would want to like work with that is like you.
Mhm.
Because then you're going to know how to talk to those people. You're going to know how
Yeah,
to.
they talk just like you,
Right. Yeah. Makes it
Yeah.
so much easier.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
talk just like you. I mean, I don't know, maybe they have the same hairstyles, or they dress similar, or, you know, I I think as far as niche is concerned, you can pick what you want to specialize in, like relocations, buyers, sellers, I don't know, equestrian, horseback, whatever. But I still think within those niches, you're still going to more than likely attract people who know you, like you, and trust you. And I think usually on social media, the reason why they're gravitated towards you is because they see a little piece of themselves in you.
Mm,
And that just goes back to me saying, like, we don't have to overcomplicate this. It's just show people how you live your life in your market.
I love
And
that.
you're already doing it anyway. You're going
Right.
to these restaurants, you're going to doing to these activities, you're going hiking, you're going camping, you're whatever. Just show people what you're doing in your normal everyday life, and you'll bring the clients in.
I love that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that answers a lot of other things. I'm sure, if anyone has questions, they can either comment on this when it's on Facebook or reach out to us. And I would be happy to forward those questions if they have further questions. Yeah, you've just built such a strong Instagram following and creating this relocate. I mean, like you said, you've been doing it for 8 months. That's incredible to see the amount of followers that you have and views on your videos. What's real quick question? What is your highest viewed video?
I don't even know. I think it was a couple when I first started, maybe like 500,000 views.
Okay.
There was one 30-day period where I had 1 million views on my platform.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, I feel like the algorithm has changed a little bit, but that's
Mhm.
another thing too. One more little thing.
Yes.
So you don't need to focus on just completely get the views out of your mind. The views don't, I mean, if you're only getting 5 views, then yeah, you're not at a problem. But, I mean, if you're getting 500, 3,000 views, like you don't need 100,000 views on your reels to be successful. Like, once again, there could be, of those 3,000 people, there's 10 people who have been watching you for months and they're ready to move. And it's just a matter of time before they send you a DM and say that they're ready to move. So, don't get into this mindset that you need, 10,000, 20,000 followers to be successful or to attract clients, because you don't. It's just not true.
I love that. And I think that's a good reminder, because I think that's sometimes what we get, I've guilty as charged. Like, you post something, you see it doing really well and you're like, oh, people like this. And yet that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to take action on it though.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Awesome. Not yet.
Yeah.
And one more question. What is a book that you're currently reading or have read in the past year that you would recommend to agents?
Honestly, I haven't read very many books in the last year.
Okay.
I've been so gung-ho with, I mean, I've probably had 5 different mentors and coaches in the last year. So that, along with my business, and I'm not a huge reader. So
Okay.
I am more like, go through some sort of course or get coaching, or that's how I like to learn, or just seeing what other people are doing. That's another big thing, is like find someone who's successful, and just replicate what they're doing. And it's just a matter of time before you reach a certain level of success.
Awesome. Love that. And I love that you're constantly growing, pouring into yourself just by mentorship, coaching, and courses. Growth is such an important part, I think, and it's just always good to keep expanding your mind.
Yes. Agreed.
Awesome. Love it. Well, thank you for being here today. And everyone, we will see you next month for our next episode.
Thanks, Savannah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.